They just got to go and give everything to get Haaland. I don't care. I don't like to talk about players or come from other teams and that, but this guy, man, we can't afford to let this guy go anywhere else. Get the ball to him. All you have to do is pass the ball to him and he'll win you the league. And he was saying about like the clips, man. He kept going over the clips. Look at him running. Look at him. What is wrong with you? Why are you not seeing this? Give it to him. Screaming at the boys. We used to hammer him about that shirt. Listen, we're not Cristiano. You're Beckham 7 top. George Best top. Brian Robson top. Yeah. Cristiano a little bit down there. He used to go nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. You already know the vibes. Looking in with the guys. Even Rio and Joel. I got tuned into 5. You know the vibes. You know the guys. You know the trio. You know it's T. You know it's Joel. You know it's Rio.
Yes, guys, we are back. This is Vibe with 5. What a weekend we've had with the North London derby. The man sitting above me has got an Arsenal shirt on. It's obvious who won the game. But before that, let's just talk him through what's coming up this week, man.
Rio, nice to see you guys. Nice to see you guys watching again. Myself, Joel Beya, Stephen Howson, Rio, the legend. Okay, first of all, I want to say happy Mother's Day to all you mums out there who are watching, and for all your mums, etc., grandmas, all the women in your life. I just want to let you guys know we've got a big video coming out this Friday, 5 p.m. UK time. It's a special on Vibe with 5, so you've got to put on your notifications and you've got to guess who it is. Make sure you subscribe as well. Should we tell them, Rio, or...?
No, let them tell us who they want, but also who they think is going to be. Big surprise.
Let us know in the comments. All right. So where are we starting today, boys? What game are we reviewing?
God.
There's only one place to start, man.
There's only one place. Because there's only one team in North London. I know man here are saying, "Rah, why is he wearing his Arsenal shirt?" That's not it, boys. Today we're reviewing the game wearing shades. That's what we're doing.
Look how gassed up he gets when they win one match.
Yeah, listen, next week could be a disaster. We got West Ham, we got Liverpool coming up. I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to enjoy it. Let's start
Where
off.
are you in the league now? Has that moved you up in the table?
Listen, I don't think any team this season should be worrying about the league table besides Man City. That's their job, all right?
Yeah.
But let's look at the performance overall. Rio, what did you think?
No, listen. First, listen, the penalty, man. The penalty killed the game. Terrible decision. I think it was a bad decision. The ball was gone. The ball weren't there. Like, I don't understand. The ball had gone. The opportunity had gone. But they give a penalty. I don't get it. It's one of many decisions this season that I've been kind of left baffled with. But yeah, I agree with Jose's comments before the game, and I'm a little bit disturbed by it. Like, how'd you go into a North London derby? Look what it means to you. You got your shades on, you got your shirt on after the game. What this means to people, the derby, I don't understand how a manager can say, listen, the first 45, our team were lacking intensity. I don't get my head around. I can't get my head around that. That's kind of unforgivable. So that's an area I'll be concerned if I'm a Spurs fan. But Arsenal, I thought, started the game really well. They played well. Obviously, Aubameyang was on the bench for the reasons that have been noted. But I thought Arsenal, I liked what I saw first half. But then second half, I think the changes and Spurs came back into it. I think Harry hit the post late on, didn't he? So they were huffing and puffing. But in the end, Arsenal got the job done and well deserved.
Do you think we deserved it, House?
Yeah, and I think Arteta's actually, I said this to you last night, didn't I? I think he's kind of done all right in some of the bigger games where he can be a bit more pragmatic, and it's not maybe on him to go and open a team up as much. He's more of an underdog. He does actually seem to pull out decent performances in those games. He's obviously got to figure out what to do about the other half of the league, which is really struggling against. But yeah, I thought they worked well as a unit. They were good value for the win, and yeah, deserved it.
I think you lot are not giving us the credit we deserve, if I'm to be really honest. No. Let's be real. Like, we hit the post, like we hit the woodwork twice in the first half. We could have been 3-1, 3-0 up, 3-1 up. You know what I mean?
But still,
what'd you say?
That's a miss.
No, yeah, but we could have been. I'm saying we had the chances, Steve. Do you know what I mean? We were doing our thing. If you look at, I was surprised. The likes of Suarez, played really, really well. Odegaard for me was a massive surprise. I think the last 2 games he's really come into growth with Arsenal. And If he carries on playing like that, just been made captain for Norway, I don't see why we shouldn't sign him on a regular basis, permanently. ESR, come on, bro. The Croyd and De Bruyne. You lot, I know you're seeing it, bro. I know you're seeing
I
it.
love him. I have to say, I love him. I love the way he plays. Smith Rowe, I think he's a fan. I was worried actually when Odegaard came in. Would the manager play him in the same team? But he's come in, man, and the way he's played this season, he's got there's sometimes even that cheekiness about the way he plays, the way he lends the ball about. I said this a while ago that he could have played in the era of Wenger, the way he plays football. Wow. He's makes that extra pass, always seems to have that bit of time on the ball, plays with his head up, and he's got that vision, man, and that spatial awareness and finding people in a red shirt. I think he's been a breath of fresh air and a big positive under Arteta. I think Saka's obviously been the standout young gun that's come in, but he's not far behind in the way that he's. And for the future, I think it's very, very bright for him.
Lamella goal, Steve.
Wow.
I mean, most people don't get one of them in their career. The guy's had two. It's obviously something he does all the time in training. I bet you can't stop him doing that in training. The fact that he's pulled two out in a match, and didn't he make party for it as well, and getting it round the keeper. Unbelievable technique.
Yeah, great goal.
Dirty.
Great goal. But that don't mean nothing if you don't win.
Aubameyang.
It's a great goal.
On the Aubameyang thing, why are Arsenal still driving themselves to matches? Like, apart from at United, obviously you stayed at the Lowry, but when you was at QPR, did you even drive yourself to games?
At QPR, yeah, you did. You had the option.
Really?
You could stay in a hotel in town and then drive in. You did. Every club's different. I think with the COVID situation, it's different again. So things are kind of thrown up in the air and things are different. I went to a game the other day at Fulham, and there was like about 6 coaches for one team because they all can't go on the same coach. So they're spread over 3 or 4 coaches, and then you've got staff on top of that as well, which is crazy. So everything's different. But getting to a stadium is on late. It just it has to be discipline. Discipline has to come into it. And I think Arteta, it was a massive decision. It's the derby, man, against Spurs, local rivals, bragging rights up for grabs, trying to get into the Europa League. There's big things to consider when making a decision like that. But I think he's thinking the bigger picture. I have to make my squad aware and well aware that punctuality, among other things, have to be on point. And the captain was late, and he's going to have to sit like everybody else, if that happens to them, on the bench for this game, I'm afraid. And so I think you have to respect that. I think all the other players, Aubameyang, myself in the same situation, I'd say if it was a mistake like time-wise and it was down to traffic or whatever, I'd be sitting there pissed. Yeah, but I think that the other players, the manager would have got a lot out of it because it's that respect. Actually, he's done it to the biggest player in the change room, the captain.
And you still won.
We all better stand in line. Now, if they lost, then there would have been a different narrative around this, I'm sure. But he got for being brave, he got his reward.
So we say, all right, cool. This is my topic. That's why I'm really interested. There's a thing of respect, guys. But would you have done it? Is the question. I think that's a different question.
Well, I would definitely have obviously tried not to be late. I don't think I was ever late for a game, if I'm honest. But again, we were at the hotel. We all travelled together. I never really went in my car. We'd done it at West Ham, but again, and we'd done it at Leeds. I wasn't late. I would never have been late for a game. But you don't know what the circumstances were. Arteta might have just said, "You're late. I don't care what the excuse is. You're not going to be in the starting 11." He might have just said that, and so there's no argument. Just you've got to accept it. But the whole squad now, sometimes a manager has to hit the biggest player for the others to get in line. And this is what this seems like to me. And I think Arteta sitting down after the win, especially, he'd been sitting there going, "You know what? We needed that. Everyone needed that because maybe some people were falling out of line. Punctuality, attitude on a daily basis might have been just slacking. I needed something to just shift everybody's mind state again. And this might have been a good tool to use. Listen, they won, man, so you can't argue. But if I got to be honest, if I'm Aubameyang and I had a genuine excuse, I am super pissed. But you have to take it.
I had it once. Didn't get to finish on time. while I was still in the army, I was still doing a full day of work, and then I was going to the academy game of an evening. They didn't let me leave any earlier than normally. It's a bit of an agreement, like let me go about an hour and a half early so I can get there. It's like a 6:30, 7 o'clock kickoff, about an hour's drive. Didn't let me leave till 5 o'clock. Ended up getting stuck in traffic and then getting dropped to the bench for it. Same sort of thing. Obviously, in rugby league, you're coming on. There's only 4 subs. You're going to get spelled. You're going to get 10, 20 minutes a half still. But yeah, I hated it. And hated the manager for it as well. Because fuck all I could have done.
Would you have done it as managers? So if you were Arteta and he came in late, that's your top man, Rio. You already know what it's been like when he ain't been around. What are you saying?
It's a big call, man. But that's what you're paid to do as a manager. You're paid as a manager to make the big calls at the big moments. There's no bigger date in the calendar, in the Premier League calendar, than the North London derby for Arsenal. And he's done it on the biggest weekend for them against their North London rivals with his captain. It's a big, massive call. But would I have done it? If I felt that the squad needed it, it's not about Aubameyang. If I felt the squad needed this and it would improve things within my squad, and like I said, in terms of the attitude, the application on a daily basis, punctuality for other people as well. In general, in the change rooms I've been, the manager would normally go to the leaders in the dressing room, the more experienced players, to get a reaction from others. So I probably would have followed suit, yeah.
I did it this year. We had a player that was late for our first game at the stadium, and I dropped him.
Yeah.
Did you?
What
Put him on at half time though, because we were drawing.
Yeah.
Centre forward, I needed a goal.
But more importantly, Joel, where do your Arsenal, and we'll talk about Spurs after, but where do these two clubs go from now? Because obviously you guys are fighting to be in the Europa League at the moment. What's next for you guys?
I think what's next is just finishing the season as best as you can. There's nothing more than than that, really. You know, Europe is here and there. Obviously, you got to aim for Europa, but it's going to be really tough. And of course, the Europa. That's what we have left. And if that's the fuel that we needed in order for us to go and do a job in Europa, then hey, so be it. Knowing our luck, we'll still get a trophy before Spurs. That's the only thing. I was also going to say, have you ever experienced any of the other United players getting any disciplinaries? And what was that like?
Yeah, like if you were late, you got fined at our club and you got hammered by the individuals in the training ground. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Anderson might have been late to training, not to the match. You can't be late to the match because we don't drive on our own. We all get on the coach together. And we all stay in the hotel the night before at United. So
no one even coming down late for the bus.
Yeah, things like that. I remember Wes Brown on pre-season was late. We'd had a night out, and Wes come down on the coach with a pair of shades on. Was he in Dubai or something like that? And he was really late. Waited about 10 minutes for him, and he come on. He was still probably half cut, but he didn't do it again. The manager weren't too happy, to be fair, but that's what it's about. It's having personal pride on punctuality. That's what it's about. And it's mad because the last two guests we've had on, Ravel Morrison and Saido Barino, both talked about, especially in their younger days, having problems with punctuality, turning up late to training. So it's something that's definitely seen within clubs, but it's not something that is people tend to make a habit. And that's where, obviously, with the two guys, the guests we had before, when they mentioned it and it became a bit of a habit for them early in their career, that's why I was a bit taken aback, because punctuality is one of the things that is like a given. It should be like you're desperate to be there anyway and get there on time, respect your teammates, respect the coaches who are putting in their time and effort to improve you as a player. So be there and be ready to play and be ready to work at the right time. And that's a given, I think, in anything you do in life.
On the motivation side, talking about Jose and Spurs not looking motivated and the reasons for that, how much of that's on the individual and how much of that's down to the manager?
Good question, Steve. I think, listen, the manager shouldn't. I always used to think, other than tactics, the managers don't even need to do a team talk when it comes to them type of games. When we used to go to Anfield or play City, it wasn't about. I used to think there's no team talk needed. just on the journey to Anfield, especially on the coach, seeing their fans waiting for us when we get there, giving us a bit of grief, getting into the train. You can feel the hostility walking through the corridors into the change room. None of the stewards like you. None of the security guys in the tunnel like you. You're walking in, you're looking at people, and you can see what they're thinking. They ain't got to say it, but you can feel it. The manager ain't got to say nothing because you're just hyped. You're stoked up immediately. You get in the change room. You've got to actually calm yourself down sometimes in them situations. You've got to calm yourself down in the change room, read the program. I used to play a bit of two-touch with Scholesy normally or Cristiano years before that. And just to calm myself down really, because you end up thinking so much about the game and being so amped. You got an hour and a half before the game. That's wasting energy. And so to think that players can go out, especially in a derby like this, a North London derby, and the manager come out, the players who he's talking about should be embarrassed. I don't know who he mentioned. He didn't mention names, but whoever them players are, and I'm sure there'll be a debrief this week, that is embarrassing for any professional, let alone in a derby of any game, that you're lacking intensity. Yeah, you lack quality. Yeah, it didn't go for you. You lacked a bit of luck, maybe. You didn't carry out the tactical ask of the manager, etc. But effort, intensity, no, not allowed. Shouldn't be allowed.
I'll keep it real. If you're talking about players that I don't think were really performing over there, Doherty, whoa, he made
some abuse. He did
ESR's job easy. You know,
yeah, but is that effort or is that just because he wasn't good enough on the day? That's the difference. That's what we're talking about.
It's not effort. I'm sorry to call him out, but he's not been looking like a top quality player. He's not looking like the bargain that Spurs thought they had. As far as I'm concerned, when I saw him on the team sheet, I was smiling, bro, because I know he's a liability. And I'll have to say this week, Gareth Bale wasn't who he has been in the last couple of games. Some might say, yes, he wasn't really getting the service, etc. But from what I was seeing, I weren't impressed. Lucky Son got injured.
I think it goes back to how I saw Spurs probably 3 weeks ago. Inconsistent. You don't know what Spurs is going to turn up. That first 45, we've seen that loads of times this season in terms of the way that they haven't been at the races. And then you can turn up another day and then all of a sudden they're flying again. I watched the game. I forget who they played against last week. The 3 strikers were formidable. You think, and then you've got Dele behind that and you've got Lucas Moura coming in and playing well. And you think, actually, Spurs have turned the corner. And then all of a sudden, a performance like this, the first 45, and then a result like this. For Jose Mourinho, he must be thinking, I don't know what I've got. It's Jekyll and Hyde every time I go out there, these players.
But going back to it, I just wanted to say that definitely a pen, Rio. I don't know what you were seeing, like, because the way he kicked it, the ball was still in play. So if you're going to kick it, even though, yes, he's kicked it and it's gone wide, but if you're going to follow through and foul a player like that, anywhere else on the pitch, if the ball's still in play, you even though someone's got the pass off or the shot off, if you follow through like that, bro, that's a free kick or a penalty. So I don't know.
I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. I don't know, man. I'm just thinking, it's just the referees have just thrown me this year, man. So every decision I'm seeing, I'm just thinking, I don't agree with you no more. It's just weird.
Thinking, I don't even know the rules anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
What I thought was a handball, what I thought was offside.
Let's just stop giving these referees any airtime because they're just jarring the life out of me, man.
Let's move on to the United game. Done my shade time now. That's all you lot are getting from me. They ain't even seeing my eyes this week. They don't deserve to see my eyes. United, West Ham, scrappy.
No,
go on, Steve.
It wasn't scrappy. Created 14 good chances. We kept a dangerous side going for top 4. I know you don't know what that's all about, but a team that's pushing for top 4, a team that's in real good form, a team that's quite hard to break down. Created 14 chances. A little bit more clinical, and that 1-0 looked quite close on paper. It wasn't that close in reality. I've seen a lot of people saying it was boring. Picking up a 1-0 is not boring to me, especially against that. We've been poor at home. This is a team that's tricky. You know they're going to come and try and foil what you're trying to do. I thought it was a good performance from a pretty weak United, really, on paper.
Yeah, I think David Moyes, they played like the David Moyes of old sometimes that you'd seen, a well-organised team, hard to break down, hard to beat. And they made it difficult for United. This is where United have normally struggled in recent seasons, where they've normally tripped up in that game. It's a 0-0. And like Steve said, they created 14 chances. If they were more clinical, they win that game by 2 or 3 goals. And this is, by the way, this ain't against the West Ham team that are struggling in the league or just hovering above relegation. They've been on good form of late. They've been putting teams to the sword. They're a team very confident at the moment. They've got a great understanding of what their manager's asking them to do. Moyes has done a fabulous job there. So 1-0, yeah, on paper it sounds a bit of a drab result, but it's beating a team in decent form and who are up there, who people have been saying are challenging for the Champions League spot. So a win against a team like they in that position, I think, is a good result. And I think, yes, we as Man United fans, we want more. We always demand more. On another day, I think you get another few goals.
Yeah, I think that's what was it, Steve, though. You said you haven't been great at home, but it's March, bro. Like, by now, you know, especially United, historically, this is when, you know, you've started to kick in by now. I don't think that's good enough, personally.
Yeah, but we're not the United of old, are we? We're missing Pogba, Marshall, Cavani. You know, you're missing players that are probably going to unlock a tight defence for you. No one's going, Dan James will unlock a defence. You know, Fred and McTominay are pretty good functional players and I think would make excellent squad players, but they're not really Manchester United first choice players. Like, that's not Carrick and Scholes, is it? That's not the sort of players that you go, these are going to be putting balls into the final third that's going to ask questions of the defence. They're just not that.
Do you not think McTominay is a Man United player, not a Man United starter in the future?
I think if he's not, United are in a good position.
What do you mean? You wouldn't want him to be a starter, basically?
I see him like a Nicky Butt kind of character. Good player, solid, reliable. You know what you get him, but he's not the first name on a team sheet.
Maybe not, but I like him, you know. I
like him a lot.
I don't dislike him. I don't
He's
dislike
got big
him.
goals
I just
as
think
well.
that
Yeah, people.
I don't think he's got that incisive pass in him, and I think you've got to have that as a midfielder.
People call me a passion merchant for liking him, but to be honest with you, I feel like those kind of players are needed more, man. He understands what it means to pay for the badge. And like you're saying, Rio, important goals, man. He steps up.
He's a good player. I like him. I don't know. Listen, Man United, it's not the Man United of old. I think it's wrong if we keep harping back to the history and teams have got yesteryear. I think we've got to move on. It's a different time. And
but you've got to know what the benchmark is, haven't you? You got to, if you want to be where we were again, you've got to go, how does this stack up? And if it doesn't stack up, then ultimately we can't.
I know, but if it doesn't stack up against the teams of years gone by, you're probably better off stacking it up against what you're up against now.
And I would say it still doesn't stack up.
But you ask for a player who has to be able to play that incisive pass. Fabinho can't play that incisive pass, but he's an integral member of a Champions League winning team and in Premier League winning team. There's horses for courses, I think, within teams.
A midfield that doesn't play that sort of ball. Manchester City midfield was.
No, but they win. That's the thing. That's the only point I'm making. But you can still win without having that type of play. Every player doesn't have to be the creative player within that team. You can have horses for courses within a team that fit the way you play. And like I said before, I've said for ages, this back four do need protecting. So one of them, I think, should be that player who's a ball winner and gives it to the creative players. And I think McTominay could be that, given the chance to grow in that role. Or do Man United, I think we've got a question, you can ask a question later on, but I'll bring it up now. Or do Manchester United need to go and invest in someone who can win the ball? And that's their job. That is actually what they do. And give it to the Pogbas, Fernandes, etc. to go and create.
I think we need to figure out what we are. And there's obviously more than 2 or 3 ways to play football. But if you look at someone like Thiago, people will say he's gone to Liverpool and he's not worked because he's fundamentally changed the way that midfield functions. I think if he'd have come to Manchester United, he'd have probably looked unbelievable because we play it through the midfield and we lack that thing that he's got. Whereas Liverpool never used that. So you bringing him in actually creates dysfunction in how they build up football and how they move into the final third and stuff. So, yeah, you're right. I think it is horses for courses. But if United are going to be a ball-playing football team, which is what it appears to be what Ollie wants us to be, then you're going to need people who can actually play it on the floor. And as much as I think McTominay definitely has his uses, and certainly in the bigger games, I got no issues with him going with McTominay and Fred. It seems to be pretty effective. But I think against the teams that are going to sit back against you, you're going to need someone with a little bit more quality and a little bit more ability to put it into the final third and create chances.
I get that. But you see the Thiago point. I think he's an unfair yardstick, because what's happened at Liverpool has destabilised and affected everything. So this season is almost a void season in terms of judging someone like him who's just come in, because he's not had the platform to be able to play. He's two midfield
an extra
partners.
minute to make the point.
But he's two midfield partners have been playing centre half. Do you know what I mean? And so he's been unable to actually really showcase what he's actually about. He could have worked at Liverpool if they had a full team, if they had one injury or two injuries, we never know. But that's next season, we'll find out. But I get what you're saying. But I just think that United, I don't know, it's the two holders that kill me. When you play two people that hold, it hurts my soul.
But you have no choice, because
there's not much other options at the
moment. Because if the way I see it is, if you've got any player that can cut through the middle or cut through, near the centre halves, sorry, but you don't want McTominay to be left with that one-on-one. Like, for me, I'm not McTominay, sorry, Maguire. You do not want Maguire to be left on a one-on-one, because for me, I don't think he's that type of a player, if I'm honest with you. And maybe Bailly can handle it, but Lindelof, Maguire, I don't want to see them on a one-on-one position. Sorry.
No, I think that's Ollie's concern. I think that's Ollie's biggest concern. Can you leave Maguire 1v1 on the halfway line, or Lindelof?
Yeah.
It's been proven you can't, because that's not their main attributes. Harry Maguire is good at a lot of other things, but that area, that's one of his weak points.
Scary, mate. That's what I say. Scary.
Do you think when we brought Maguire and Wan-Bissaka in, because we was a pretty heavily focused counter-attacking side, that those two particular signings work perfectly in that circumstance? But now we have developed into a bit of a more ball-playing side. We've moved 25 yards up the pitch. You're exposing the weaknesses, because you're asking Wan-Bissaka to be a ball player. Your fullbacks have so much possession in a game. And you're asking Maguire to do the sort of stuff that we might not have signed him for. What do you reckon? Yeah,
I think that's a massive point. I think Wan-Bissaka can be coached into that. I think he's going to have to do a lot of work on a training ground in terms of being on the ball, with the ball, to improve in that area. Because, like you say, his strongest point we saw against City, his ideal scenario is to be left 1v1 against the wide man and say, right, me against you. There ain't anyone better around doing that in a 1v1 situation. By the way, it's one of the hardest parts of defending, by the way, when you're 1v1 as a fullback in them wide areas with loads of space around you. He does that better than anybody. But his weakest part of the game is probably on the ball and his distribution. And in today's game, look at last season, the best team in the league were Liverpool. The two of the three players with the most touches in the Premier League last season were two fullbacks, Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So it tells you that the game's evolved into being an area where the fullbacks are controlling a lot of the touches of the ball, controlling a lot of the plays in the ball. So that's an area he'll have to improve on. He has a lot more touches than he's ever had in his life. But that's where the training ground comes in. That's where the coaching comes in. And you'd like to see that he'd improve over time to get to a level where you say, actually, wow, he's holding that right side down, because he seems to have improved in that area. He needs to improve in that area. And I think he's doing that slowly.
He is, but I'm a bit surprised though, because like you said, you mentioned those other players. You can see, Cancelo, how important he is for City when it comes to that. Reece James at Chelsea. Wan-Bissaka used to be a winger, before he played a couple games as a winger for Palace anyway. For me, I'm surprised that on that side he isn't better. I tried to have an argument with you, and I put it down to maybe because he didn't come from the top academies, and you shut that down quickly. Cool. Will he be able to improve, in that area? Is that really him? Because
do you know, when we talk about young players or players in general, things you can't improve drastically is physicality, is mainly like pace and speed. They're things you're either quick or you're not. You're not going to see a big difference. Like you're not going to make Jorginho at Chelsea in the midfield quick. That just ain't going to happen. Do you know what I mean? But can you improve people's touch? Can you improve their awareness? Can you improve their passing? Yes, you can. And so that comes down to training, repetition. There's got to be a desire from the player to identify a weakness in his game and then go, actually, I'm going to work on this. Like, I wasn't great at heading the ball as a kid because I played midfielders growing up. But I used to get the goalkeeper, Jerome John at West Ham, to kick and launch probably 15, 20, 30 balls every other day after training. In rain, sleet, snow, whatever it was, I'd be out there heading balls. And so I improved. Like even things like passing into the front man from through the lines. They were training drills I'd done with René Moulenstein at Man United. Even when I was playing in the first team, I'd go out and do extras, go and get the balls, and I'd do drills, trying to find my way through, pick punches through the team into players, into the areas I know that Rude's going to be in, Rooney's going to be in, Cristiano, Nani, Giggs, where they were on the pitch, I would start seeing them more often than not. And repetition, like a tennis player, he plays that backhand shot every day in training. Why do you think he's so good at it? Why do you think he's such a consistent shot? Because he's there repeating that work all the time. And I think that, and someone like Wan-Bissaka, that's what he should be doing. Touch, play to the wide man. Touch, play to the wide. Get them basic passes. Just have them drilled down. Touch, play in now into the front man. Touch, play, touch out your feet and cross it. Various types of crosses. Whip them low, hard behind the defenders. That little corridor of doubt between the goalkeeper and the centre backs. Do you know what I mean? Like pick people out, feather one in over the back post. Like that comes down. That you don't just watch that and say, oh, I need to get that in my game and think, oh, I'll wake up in 6 months and it'll be there. Ain't happening. It's work.
How many? This is more of a. I kind of know the answer to it, but this is more just for like any of the players that actually watch us. I know so many people in Manchester at the moment that are doing one-to-one training. They go and do training at Carrington or wherever, and then they're going picking up a one-to-one coach where they're working on their individual skills. I know you did some stuff with Rene. I spoke to Rene about it. How important is it to go and do that extras? And I know that sports science doesn't like you doing it, do they? But like, how important do you think it is to go and do those individual skill sets?
I think at the right time, it's imperative. I think you have to, like, because you want to get ahead. That's all I used to think about. I'm doing extras to get ahead of anybody. I'm doing extras to get ahead of Vidic. I'm doing extras to get ahead of John Terry, Sol Campbell, Ledley King. I'm doing extras. Are they doing it? I know they're not. They might be, but they're doing something. I'm doing more. I'm trying to do. That's all I used to think. Am I doing more than them? And so try and be better. And I think the young kids today, they've got social media. They can find coaches one-to-one, etc. But it's got to be managed. The load has got to be managed. But practice makes perfect. It's the old saying, man. It doesn't change. That wheel is not going to change. Practice does make perfect, but you got to do it at the right times. And when you're practicing, it's like, again, like I'm doing extras, but is so-and-so doing the extras at the same intensity that I'm doing it? Because I'm doing it match pace. Like, so when it gets into the match, I'm in tune to it. I've done this. I've seen this about 1 million times now because I've done it so much. It's not a surprise. I get into a position and I'm 1v1 versus Suarez and I'm showing him down the line. Do I show him down the line or do I show him inside? No, I've thought about this. I know I do this on a regular basis. I've done this in the week 5 to 6 times already and won the ball. I'm confident to take him there. Do you know what I mean? It's all little things like that. And like, we're talking about Wan-Bissaka where it started, and someone like him, if you're going to get the ball, you should have not even him, anyone in the pitch, before the ball comes to you, the old coaches used to say to me, Frank Lampard's dad used to say to me, and then other coaches after that, have you got a picture? And I should say, what are you talking about? He said, have you got a picture? When the ball gets to you, have you already got a picture as the ball's coming to your feet of what is around you, where your next pass is going to be? And I was like, I was trying to work it out in my head for ages. I was thinking, what is he talking about? And it's like, when the ball's on, that's why you see a lot of these players when they're doing that before the ball comes. They're just taking pictures. Assessing where they are, it's taking a picture. So as the ball's coming, they've had a look, the picture's taken, and they do it. They can play without looking again because they've taken a picture of the situation where the people are, the spatial awareness. Scholesy was the best. I used to roll in the ball and he'd look bit as I'm playing it to him and he wouldn't even take another look up. The ball come, his head's down and just go bang, punch it there because he's took the picture. And it's the young players, it's a big thing that taken into their game, understanding where they are when they receive the ball, having something in their mind already. But then obviously, a picture, the ball comes and you might look again, the picture's changed. Then can you react? So there's levels to it, there's layers to it, but it's not as easy as it looks, but it's hard. But if you practice, you got a good chance of doing well.
Do you ever use that 3D thing that Mick Clegg's got in his lab?
What's that?
Look, it's like you look at a 3D TV with some glasses on, some balls have numbers on, they all move around.
Yeah. We used to do that. Yeah. That's good. That is. Scholesey's unbelievable. Scholesey was unbelievable at stuff like that. There used to be a thing on the wall with lights that would pop up on numbers, or just a light would come on and you have to hit them. He was like a joke. Unbelievable.
Madness. You see, when you're looking at United now, obviously they're short off Man City. 2 questions. What do they need to compete next year? And secondly, when you were short of winning the league, right, i.e. the season before RVP came, what was that like? What was the intensity? What was Fergie saying to you guys inside the changing rooms? What was the feeling? If you can answer those 2 questions, please.
The second question, what's the feeling when you don't win the league? It's just embarrassment. Your pride, your ego. That's our trophy. That's how we used to look at it. That's our trophy. Like someone's just took it. All right, they're going to lend it, but they've took it and they've got it now and they're celebrating. That's how we used to be. Like, what's next season? Right, Gaffer, who we getting? You be on him. Boss, please, come on, man. Who we getting? Yeah, I'm looking to get so-and-so. And like Van Persie. And you're like, right, yeah, that's what we need. And when Van Persie came, you mentioned him because you're Arsenal as well. When I played against Robin Van Persie, he never, ever really, I didn't think, wow, what a player. I thought he's good. He's good.
Really annoys me, you know.
No, listen, but it might have been just the phase and that we played well against United, against Arsenal them times, and we had them, their number maybe. But that game, he just had a day off. He didn't play so well, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think he's good, technically unreal, but against me, I've not seen it yet. And then he came to training. And then he done some stuff.
Is it?
And then I thought, this guy has levels. He is bad.
Talk us through.
He was bad. He was a bad man. He was a bad man. RVP, as a centre forward, a number 9, technically was almost perfect. Almost the closest to perfect that probably I played with. And I played with some great strikers, like all round with everything. You could play the ball into him. He was strong, hold people off on that left foot.
Nasty as well, wasn't
he? He was, nasty. He was strong. He was aggressive, but the ball coming to him and everything he done with the ball, the way he received the ball on his back foot sometimes, textbook, shielding it away, the ball between his body between him and the ball and the defender. Like then he might have to do a skill to get out, a little chop and move the defender and then play someone in. He was just sexy to watch. I used to think, like purring. He was, and I was thinking, this ain't the Van Persie that I played against, man.
Yeah.
But now I see what all the madness is about him, why people go, whoa. But I tell you one thing, we trained one time and he done a bit of skill on me, yeah? And not many people got away from me in training like that, yeah? But he done a bit of skill. It was like 1v1s, going back to that. And he went to shoot and he done that chop that he does. And then he brought it back again and then scored. And he's cheeky. He started laughing and that. And obviously, I'm embarrassed. All the teams there. And we walked from that pitch to go on to the next pitch to do a different type of training. And I remember Scholesy walking up to me and he went, Rio, he's a level up. And he's a level up from what we've seen.
Wow.
That's what he said. And like, bearing in mind, Scholesy's played with all the greats. And he went, he's a level up. Really. And it was like, and I knew already, but boy, he embarrassed me that day. But he was a magnificent footballer.
It weren't, sorry, Steve, I know you're going to come in. It weren't just you that thought that though, innit? Because Fergie was told the same thing by Arsene Wenger. When you guys got him on the cheap for close to nothing, you heard it before, right? Wenger said, you're getting a better player than you know. I remember arguing with my mates. I was saying, you see that guy? Yeah, he is the man. Like, don't worry, don't be cussing me about glass knees and that. When he celebrates and he slides, he'll be injured. Forget that. He is top quality.
This is what Fergie was great at. He was great at identifying certain individuals that could win us titles. He done it with Berbatov. He done it with Tevez. He obviously done it with Cristiano, Rooney, me. But then he saw Ruud van Nistelrooy was one that Ruud van Persie was one that not everybody saw like as being that guy who could come in and just change everything. And I remember we played a game. I don't know if I've said this before, but we played a game, man. And the manager brought us in on the Monday and done a video. And we've very rarely done a video on a Monday looking at a game. He brought us in, played the video, and it showed about 15 clips of Van Persie making runs and us not finding him. The ball's at Carrick's feet. Van Persie's off the back of the defender. He's in. If the ball comes, he's in. Perfect timing, perfect run. Scholes's getting it, not playing it to him, not passing. He's not seeing it. Van Persie's in. And the manager's stopping the kids going, what are you thinking? What are you doing? He will win you titles. He will win you the league. Pass him the ball. Like, get him the ball.
The meeting where he said, it's all on you lot to just find him. That's it.
Yeah. That's what he said. He said it's about all you've got to do is get the ball to him. All you have to do is pass the ball to him and he'll win you the league. Mm. And he was saying about like the clips, man. He kept going over the clips. Look at him running. Look at him. What is wrong with you? Why are you not seeing this? Give it to him. Screaming at the boys. Imagine being the striker in that team that he's talking about. Imagine.
Sitting there like that.
His heart must have been pumping. The blood must have been flying around his body. He must have wanted to go out and play. The adrenaline, the belief that manager had showed in him. And then from there on, man, the ball was just being zinged into him, feet over the top, round the sides of people, because they saw. And once the ball got there, this guy didn't miss. He was a killer. Unbelievable. I was sad we got him so late. And I was even sadder that when the manager left a year after, he was hurt more than anyone. It seemed like emotionally. He was emotional, man, because I've come for this guy. This guy loves me. He believes in me. He gave me life. And he's gone.
I'm not even going to lie, yeah. We always do the let us know who you want. We need to get that guy on Rio. Like
Van Pizzle. That's what we used to call him, Van Pizzle.
Listen, that guy, we need to get him on. So you basically saying, Rio Steve, that's what you need to win the league?
Well, yeah, Rio's just answered it in the longest winded possible way of saying that we need a bagsman.
Yeah, we do. That's it. Perfect. You know what? They just got to go and give everything to get Haaland. I don't care. I don't like to talk about players or come from other teams and that, but this guy, man, we can't afford to let this guy go anywhere else. His only destination is England. That's the only place he's going. If he goes anywhere else, I'll be so surprised. He's only
the best
coming to England.
English-born talent in the world at the minute.
Yeah. Born here, born and bred. But he obviously loves English football. His dad played here. I'm sure it's one of his dreams to come and play in England, I'm sure. Why not in the red shirt at Old Trafford? Be the guy that brings trophies back to Man United and brings a successful period back. Be that guy.
Forget all that, man. Like I'm seeing your passionate rant. If he comes to England, he's going City, and you know it.
He's a City fan or a Leeds fan, isn't he?
No, because
there's a good chance he don't like United.
No, because.
But he likes Oli.
Aguero's time is running out. We're going to be talking about him in a minute anyway. His time is running out. City are in the perfect position. I know your subscribers are going to hate me, but I can't help but being real. You know, if you're looking at teams to go to at the moment and you want to win trophies, United still look like they're 2-3 years behind. City are comfortable.
Do you think he suits City? I don't think he suits City style of play at all.
Nah, you know what? A player like that, you make it work.
Anyone. Yeah. He's finishing off all them chances getting created, getting flashed across the goal. He's banging them.
What?
He's banging 40.
Yeah.
You know what? There's two ways of looking at it, yeah? Of that question, Joel. If I'm him as a player, and I'll think back to when I played, I went to United from Leeds. I had other options, yeah? I went to United for one reason only. Two reasons. To win. I knew I had the best chance of winning. And for Sir Alex Ferguson. That's it, yeah? Now, Oli hasn't got that credit in the bank yet to have that effect, I don't think yet. But maybe with Haaland as a single case, he might, because of their relationship before, Norwegian, etc. Yeah. But United aren't the Man United of old who are cleaning up. So that's a negative on that side, maybe. And if you're saying to me, what you'd rather go somewhere where you're winning like City, as a player, I would have been thinking along those lines. So but Man United have got history, and there's a chance now for him to be the talisman, to be that signing, that final piece in the jigsaw, to now change the fortunes of such a historic and great club as Man United. That's an incentive. That's the challenge. That's a challenge.
Really?
Can I back you up a sec?
Go on.
Who was the other offers on the table for you?
For who?
For you.
Spain I could have gone to Spain. I could have gone Italy as
I
well.
was going to play for Spain.
No, in a Spanish
Come on,
team.
spill the beans. This is 5 with 5. You can't be keeping
Madrid. I could have gone to. I could have gone to Madrid.
Really?
Even at other times, I could have gone Barca. Roma when Capello was there years before. But it's, and they won the league as well. But it's you get them opportunities to go places, yeah. And it's how desperate he is to win immediately. And if he's desperate to win immediately, right now, you've got to say City are best place to do that. But again, it's how it's sold into him, and that's why it's so interesting. When you're a technical director, a sporting director at clubs, you're the person normally selling the club in, and it's so important to get that narrative right and that incentive that you can produce for a player. It's almost like you're doing a pitch with a storyboard, like going in there with a presentation to the player to make sure that he signs. You see all the commercial companies, Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Puma, etc. They be doing this when they're signing these big NBA or football stars. They don't just post money, come and just go. This is how we see it for you. This is the path that you're going to take with us. This is the journey. This is why we believe in you, and this is where we're going to get you to if you believe in this. And we're going to go. The money's going to be right. The brand is right. That's how the football clubs, I'm sure, have got to be selling it in, and that's going to be an important factor, I think, in doing a deal with of this magnitude with a player like him or any player you want to bring in. It's that story. It's the narrative that you give. It's selling the club in because, and unless City, it's easier for. I think it's easier for Man City right now because they've got Pep Guardiola. It's easier for Liverpool. They've got Klopp, and they've got the history. But it's for Man United. You have to say and sit, and Man United are in a position where Ollie hasn't got that credit in the bank through winning leagues and trophies yet. Once Ollie wins leagues and trophies, it's over. Because other clubs, I feel we're above everybody because we've got a manager who's shown he can prove he can win, and you've got the backing of the whole club that we've got, the history, etc. Liverpool and City are in prime time, I think, with a lot of the big players that are on the market right now.
For the record, I would have done what RVP did, and I would have been doing what Kane's not doing at the moment. And if I was Haaland, I'll go to the place where I think I should be winning more. I ain't got no time to waste, man.
What about the Roy Keane incident with his dad?
Sorry. Oh, yeah, see? Yeah. Roy Keane, with that could play a role. I don't know, but Roy Keane's not at Man United no more, so it's different.
Can you explain for the people, though, Steve? Can you give a proper explanation so they know what you're talking about?
There's some talk Roy Keane ended his dad's career. He didn't end his dad's career. He nailed him off the ball big time. It's one of the worst off-the-ball fouls you're going to see. It was a straight red. I think he hits him on his right knee. He ended up retiring because of his left knee, but he did play the same week, I think, for Norway. So he didn't end his career. He definitely didn't extend it. But yeah, it was a years-long feud with Alfinger, Haaland, and Roy Keane. I think when Roy Keane did his cruise shit in '98, I think Alf stood over him and gave him a bit of shit about it. And Roy Keane doesn't forget, I guess. And when his opportunity came in a Manchester derby, I think it was 2003, 2004, absolutely wiped him out. Absolutely destroyed him.
Yeah, does that play a part in Haaland's thinking? Does he think, oh, my dad played against United and got smashed and I don't want to revisit? I don't know. We don't know, man. But these behind the scenes, these questions, I'm sure, are being asked. I'm sure the right people are asking the right questions of him and to get an understanding of where he wants to go or when he's ready to leave
like
Dortmund.
United were very close to getting him last year.
Massive mistake. Massive mistake. Whatever the reason.
You've
You've got
got the agent to control with the buyout clause and stuff.
Would you allow it, Rio? You just say, you know what? You got to let my man do what he's got to do. Hold your tongue. Because now you've got agents that are practically talking out against United, against Ollie. Do you really want that blood back into your club?
Sometimes you got to dance with the devil, man. Sometimes you got to, because like when a player like Haaland comes on, that's 10 years, man. That could be potentially 10 years service. And you see the way this guy is doing things at the moment. He just ran over Fernando the other day, ran him over. You see that? Man. He absolutely bulldozed him into the turf, drilled him into the floor and banged it in the back of the net. And then the ref said, nah, It's not a goal, but you get a penalty. Missed it and then banged it again, the next one. The geezer is going to be banging goals in for the next 10, 15 years. He's got what I loved about him the other day, which made me love him even more, is in Champions League, he was doing it on BT. He had an interview and they said, you scored 2 today. Brilliant. How do you feel? He said, you know what? I was sat at home last night and I saw Mbappe score a hat-trick last night, so I had to come and do something. That type of attitude, I love that. That's what I want in my football club. Go and get it by any means.
Love it. Love it. Go on, Steve.
Is there any chance of us getting Fletch on to talk about his new role?
Yeah, I'll ask him. I don't know if he might be governed in what he can say and he can't talk too much, but it'd be good to get on. It'd be nice to get someone in that position to see what he looks like. Maybe give him a bit of time to actually get his feet under the table and see what the job shapes out as, and then he can give us a bit more insight.
You guys before we move on, you guys got a big game coming up this week. Obviously, Europa. That result against AC Milan wasn't good. It was good to see Diallo, do his thing. But what's your predictions for the game coming up on Thursday?
Go on, Steve.
Ollie's mentioned that there might be like 5 players back, including De Gea. It will be interesting if De Gea starts Thursday because sort of like the Europa's been Dean Henderson or his number 2's kind of thing. So it'd be interesting if De Gea does get a shirt in that game. He's also mentioned that Pogba could be back, Van der Beek could be back, Cavani could be back, Marshall. So I'd be very surprised if all of them play, but I think he's kind of let the cat out of the bag that some of them are going to play. I mean, there's some talk that Pogba coming back just before the internationals. Maybe there's more to meet the eye with that. I don't know, but I think it'd be nice to have some of those players back. I think we can beat Milan. Obviously, our away form's been pretty damn good for months and months now. Be a tough game though. There were good value for the draw.
Is Zlatan going to be fit?
I'm not sure.
I think we'll get the job done. I think our away form speaks for a lot. I think that's a big factor. These guys have been away now in some big games and won. They know what it's like. They've done it in Europe as well. So I fancy us to get the right result.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. Hopefully it will set you guys up for a good mood for the interview we've got on Friday. Like I said, don't forget, subscribe, put on the notification button. Okay, real quickly, Fulham 0, Man City 3. They're making it look easy, innit, really? Steve?
Yeah. It started off all right, didn't it? I was like, Fulham are having a go here. You might see them drop points, potentially, but then, no. They're just steamrolling it, aren't they, at the minute? They're so good.
They're way out in front, man. The game plan, the way that they play, watching them play even they're the best team to watch in the league in terms of their style of football, the way they break teams down. And it's just a matter of time now, just chalking off the games. And I think it's as simple as that. They really have taken the league by storm. You have to remember at one point, they were languishing like 10th or 11th in the league. And then all of a sudden they've gone on this crazy run. And we talked about boring 1-0s, Man United winning 1-0. The root and the foundations for this run have been a couple of 1-0s.
It's true.
That they've won, Man City, and keeping a clean sheet is vitally important. And they've had a good solid defence of late. And that's been the real reason, I think, the backbone of them getting to where they are, that consistency. And listen, the best team wins the league, and they are the best team this year.
But they got a squad though, man, because they've had parts of the season without De Bruyne. Obviously, Aguero's been missing quite a lot. Talking about Aguero, where do you see his future? And do you think he can ever get back to the Aguero that we know somewhat? Or are them days gone?
I think it's difficult. I think it's because at his age, getting injuries is very difficult always. Once you get to a certain age, over 30 years old, shaking off injuries like you used to in your 20s is not the same. They linger, they slow you down, not only physically but mentally as well. So I hope he can get back to some sort of form and that sharpness he had before, because there's no doubt in my mind he's one of the best strikers to ever grace the Premier League. Huge talent. Not only that, has been a part of some of the biggest moments in a club's history, if not the biggest, and a moment in Premier League history that will forever, I'm sure. Not that we wanted to see it. The Aguero moment, that one. But he's a fabulous...
when we drew the league with him?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, when we drew the league. But yeah, but no, he's a great player, man. I got to say, I've got a soft spot for him. I think he's a great player. One of the toughest players I played against in my time in the Premier League. Yeah, I was getting a bit older, but he was still one of the toughest, no doubt.
Why is he not hated by United fans? Because he's not. And for that moment, he's definitely a legend of Manchester City. There's just a lot of respect for him. It's weird.
Do you know what? He doesn't talk, does he? He's not in the media. It's like Scholesy. No one really hates Scholesy, do they? You don't speak. You can't hate someone who doesn't speak or give you a reason to hate him. He doesn't speak in the media, really. He doesn't talk to the media, the sports media anyway, in our country.
Would you take him on a free and do a reverse Dennis Law with him?
At United? Not if I'm talking about Haaland.
Okay, but if we're being real, we're not getting Haaland, are we?
I don't know. I don't think we're definitely not getting him. I think we're in the picture, whether we get him or not. But then it goes to my other.
Well, that's tomorrow's headline.
Look at Haaland. Yeah, we're talking about him, but we got one on our doorstep. Harry Kane. Like, he's the one I always say. Yeah, this loyalty thing, it's not real in football. Yeah. He might be the third person who's going to go against the grain and just be completely loyal to his team he supported as a kid, yeah? I can understand that, yeah? But on the other hand, I can't understand it. Because you play this game to win. If you not everyone can win, yeah? But if you get the opportunity to win, surely you take it with both hands. If you've got an opportunity to go to the best teams in the country, to put you on a pedestal to win, to enhance your personal glory, but also you're a part of a team that can win, surely you take it with both hands and you say, I've given this time here now. It hasn't worked out. We're actually fighting for a Europa League place now, not even Champions League. I've got to go, man. And no one will sit there and discredit him or be upset with him because he's given the time.
So much.
Now's the time, man. And that's what I think for Harry Kane. I want to see him lift trophies because I think he's an unbelievable talent. He's got ridiculous ability. He's a fantastic goal scorer, a good guy.
Where do you want him to go?
I'll take him. If I'm Man United, if I'm Man City, if I'm Liverpool, if I'm Chelsea, I'll take him. Chelsea can't get him. But if I'm one of them three teams, I take him
spending
now.
That money on him out of them three teams, though.
If any of them can get him, they take him. I bet you. If they've got the money, they take him.
150 mil.
The answer is City. You don't like to admit it, but the answer is Manchester City.
Well, City can't have Haaland and Kane, can they?
He's not saying that. He's talking specifically for Harry Kane, right? If they can't get Haaland for whatever reason, Harry Kane is the option. It could work out.
City haven't actually spent those wild sums on a player, and Kane's gonna be 130, 150 million.
But
I just don't know who's spending that on him.
They'll do it. You see, for players like that, for Haaland or for a Kane, there will come a time where they'll do it.
If Kane goes to Man City, yeah, the chances that they are creating, he scores 40 goals, easy. Easy, but bangs 40. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be sitting there salivating like a St. Bernard, man.
Yeah. Yeah, nah. It's a joke thing, man. It gets me upset, to be honest with you. I'm not like these guys. I'm moving. All right. So moving on. Leicester City 5, Sheffield United 0. Did the Chris Wilder situation have anything to do with this performance?
Well, I saw a stat that he'd not conceded more than 3 goals or something like that. Or not conceded by more, or not lost by more than 3 goals in his entire time at Sheffield United. So maybe.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. Yeah, that's a generous stat. You know what I mean? Because this year, that team's been getting whipped. You know what I mean? So
I think Sheffield United have been the biggest losers in terms of having no fans in the stadium out of all the teams. It's not an excuse. I just feel I think that's definitely something that you could say about them. Normally, when a manager goes, the next result's normally a win, isn't it? It's normally like the team's lifted and whatever happens, the team gets a positive result. They got smashed 5-0, man. But listen, at the end of the day, man, I think Chris Wilder, I said it on TV the other day, I think Chris Wilder, the job that he's done there, he took that club from the doldrums. They were about 11th in League One when he signed in as a manager and took them to almost European football in the Premier League. He's put them in the spotlight again in the top league. And the main thing as a manager, as a player, when you leave a club that you've been at for a number of years, can you walk out with your head held high? And Chris Wilder can. Done a ridiculous job there. And I think there'll be clubs and chairman of football clubs thinking, I'd want that guy in my football club. I'd want him to run my club. And I think he'll have multiple offers by the time the season starts next season.
Why now? Why sack him now?
I don't know. I think we have to wait for Chris Wilder to come on the show and tell us. But I'm not sure why now. They've maybe given it that time and they think, actually, now we're not going to get out of it. We'll get a new manager in now, give him a bit of time to the end of the season to see the players, and then we can make a real calculated effort in the summer based on the knowledge of players this season that he's seen, the new manager.
But I heard that the players were very upset that he left.
Yeah, because a lot of them players that are there, you've got to understand that football club are championship players or lower. Do you know what I mean? And that's where they started out. So, and he's been the person that's brought them to this position to where they are playing Premier League football. Their wages, their life has changed in essence, really. So they're going to have a tie, an emotional tie with him, surely. And I understand it. They're going to be upset that he's gone. But listen, this game's a fickle game, man. So them players will have to move on very quickly. Stop feeling sorry for the manager or whatever, and you got that he's gone. You got to move on.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of them players are his players, and I don't mean just that he signed them. I think they're Chris Wilder players that they're into everything he was saying. I don't know why the fall off was so drastic for them this season to last season. There's probably multiple factors that are at play for that. But even if he'd have took them down, they're still a net positive of one promotion from where he took them over. I think he'd done enough to prove that he had the capabilities to bring them around again. To probably get them promoted.
So my management company, New Era, they look after Chris. So I know a little bit behind the scenes, but I don't know everything yet. When the washing kind of comes out and gets dried out, I'll be there to listen. But because it all happened quite quickly. But at the end of the day, I think listening to Chris speak and the me especially, I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I think investment wasn't what he probably anticipated. They couldn't compete with a number of signings in the summer, mainly a striker in terms of wages. They were getting dwarfed in terms of the offers they were putting in for players on their wages, so couldn't compete. But also, I think the United fan, by the way, who wanted the club to grow and do well. And I think the infrastructure of the football club, there wasn't much investment in that area or enough to see the club grow and be able to sustain life in the Premier League. So that all being said, I think that it comes to a point where, listen, I think everybody sees it as the best way to move forward, maybe. Moving on.
Manager's going so soon.
Yeah, it doesn't sit down well with Steve, to be honest with you. But moving on, Leeds 0, Chelsea 0, draw. What are we saying about that game?
I done that game for BT, didn't I? So I was there. It was a terrible day, man. The conditions, the pitch, everything was poor. But I think it's a Leeds. It's a Leeds team that it was a better result for them. And they had the odd opportunity to hit the bar. Mendy just tipped it onto the cheat record. By the way, Mendy's been unbelievable. But Chelsea just looked like a team who just at the moment are just conditioned to not concede goals. Another clean sheet. I think that's like 11 clean sheets or something like that now they've had since he's come in. I think it's been ridiculous what he's done. I think they've conceded 2 goals since he's been there. He's just been, in that sense, it's about now changing it from being a really efficient defensive unit to being a team that can be free-flowing and score goals as well. He's got to get that balance. I think he's just finding out about his players now, being hard to beat, hard to play against. And next season, I think we'll see a little bit more of an opening up from Tuchel and this Chelsea team.
Would you say that normal service has been resumed when you look at the table? Sorry, Steve, I'm not even looking at you guys. I'm looking at the table. Would you say normal service has been resumed where you would expect?
Because Arsenal are 10th.
Come on. Enough of that, mate.
No, I think normal service is like Spurs and Arsenal and Liverpool being up in and around the top 6. but that's not happening at the moment.
It's just been a wild season, isn't it? There's so many unexpected runs.
Yeah, man.
Liverpool are not going to be 8th next year. They're not.
No.
Wherever they end up this year, they're not going to be 8th next year. I don't think Arsenal will be 10th next year, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think at the start of the season, I did a prediction. I had you coming 6th or 7th, but not bottom half.
If Liverpool finish where they are now out of Europe, they could potentially that could push them to be favourites for the league next year.
Yeah, no midweek games.
No midweek games.
It's mad. With that squad. It's mad.
Plenty of time to work on stuff and prepare every single week.
Exactly. Guys, you know what?
I've said this before. Can you explain what it's actually like for a player when you're playing twice a week versus once a week?
Once a week, your social life is unbelievable. You can go out and do stuff. You can go for dinners. You can meet friends, etc. It's unreal. You love it. But from a professional standpoint, it's like you have a bad game on a Saturday and you've got to wait for the following Saturday. It's a long time of that depressive state that you get in sometimes. Hangover from that last result and that bad performance. Confidence takes a long time to build when you've not got big gaps in between games. Whereas when you're playing twice a week, it's physically and mentally tough to get yourself ready for a game, get down and bring yourself straight back up again. It can be tough at times, especially in the winter months. But there's no better feeling, man. Games back to back. It's just like the best. It's the best because you're getting games thick and fast. You're not having to train too crazy. You're not having to do too much technical, boring stuff on a training ground. And the games are keeping you fit. It's good.
Is it competitive, would you say, when you're playing once a week? Because like you said, if you have a bad game, that could be the difference between you being dropped or not given a second opportunity. Would you say it's more competitive?
It's more difficult when you play once a week because also the manager hasn't got the ability to really shuffle the pack with the team. He doesn't need to. He can't tell a player, I'm shuffling the pack just because of fatigue and we've got a big game on the Tuesday that I want you to be ready for. Don't get that excuse. Whereas when you're playing the 2-3 games a week that you do when you've got Europe, it really does enable the manager to have that comfortable decision and that opportunity to have the conversations and the excuses that he can have in his pocket to shuffle that team about. Definitely makes it easier for a manager in that sense. But I think all managers would rather just keep playing games. It's the best thing.
Do you not think you're more tactically prepared when you've only got one game a week?
Yeah, you are. There's so many pros and cons for it. I think tactically you've got more time on a training pitch. But then it can be more boring for the players at times. Players want the games to be coming thick and fast because there's more opportunity to play games. There's more opportunity to score goals and win games. I don't know. There's pros and cons of both, really.
Real quickly, favorite word. Real quickly, I want to touch on the Cristiano Ronaldo situation. He is now officially the highest goal-scoring player ever.
He's done it with a hat trick.
When he had no end product.
Yeah.
Was it that bad? No end product.
That was
decision making and that at the end weren't up to speed. But that was down to age, immaturity. He matured like fine wine, boy. This guy's just gone and taken 770 something goals or something. What a crazy number it is.
Yeah.
But you don't see strikers in Sunday League football scoring that many goals when they're winning 13-0 and things like that on a regular basis. This guy has done the unimaginable. It's absolutely crazy what he's done and overtaken Pele, like players like that who are regarded as the best ever. Like this guy has gone and just like dismantled it all. And by the way, you see his comments this morning. There's more to come. His insatiable appetite for more and more success is something I don't think he'll get to 1,000, but he'll retire trying. I'm telling you, that's the way he is.
Because he could go like a European magical mystery tour now, couldn't he? Go to the French league, pick a team that's probably going to be successful, like Paris, probably pull in 30 goals again. He could do that a few times because he's not. I think Cristiano Ronaldo only plays in the top leagues. He's an elite man. This guy thinks elite only. Like I speak to him. He's obviously a friend of mine who I still speak to. And, this guy only thinks about elite stuff. He don't think about taking shortcuts to get anywhere. He's just about elite. I want to stay in the top leagues, scoring the top goals, winning top trophies. You don't think about nothing else. One day
when he's old and frail, he might go and play in one of these crazy leagues or somewhere around the world somewhere where it's not the standard of the top 5 leagues in like the Germany, England, Spain, Italy, and then probably France is just underneath that. Them 5 leagues. I don't see him going outside of that. If he does, I see him going to probably America at a push.
So are you saying the French league would be too low for him to go to?
I'm saying he'll go to the French league because I think that's one of the top 5 leagues. It's the 5th of the top 5 leagues, really, but he considered the top 5 leagues. So
Germany and France,
yeah,
pulling tons of goals. Might finish in Portugal with his old club.
Maybe. I don't know. I just think the guy, man, in his own heart of hearts, ideally, he wants to do it in the biggest leagues. That's it. And I think what he's done, what he's achieved, man, is everyone sees all of the fast cars, the airplane trips, private plane, the fashion, the $1 million smile, etc. But what I see when I look at him or I speak about him is I just see a work ethic that's unrivaled. Simple as that. And I think that's the takeaway for any kid. When they look at him, when they hear about him, when they're aspiring to be like someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, work ethic has to be at the absolute base of any ambition to be the best.
And a good person, right? I see him sometimes commenting on you commented on one of your most recent IG posts when you were laughing about him being the greatest. You guys seem to have a good relationship.
Yeah, man, we have a laugh, man. And I send him, if I see something funny or a meme on Instagram or somewhere like that, it gets smashed straight onto WhatsApp to make sure he sees it so he can take the mick out of him. But listen, he's always been like that as a kid, even when he comes to United. He ain't scared to laugh at himself. You know what I mean? He don't take nothing personal. He's just one of the lads. But he's the best.
The best.
Him and Messi, the best ever.
Understandably. Steve, anything else, or are we wrapping up?
No, I just echo that. I think he's the best I've seen. I think the flexibility that he's shown to go and the balls. Let's be honest, the balls to come to Manchester United and take the number 7 shirt from David Beckham. Come on, man. The stones on you to do that and to go on and be a success and to win a Ballon d'Or, and then to go to Real Madrid where Raul was everything. Take his number off him, break his record for goals, break every record anyone's ever seen for goals, and then go to Juventus, which is a very tactical league. All right, Juventus are probably going to be winning the league there, but it's still a league where the goals don't usually go as far as they go in Spain, still score shed loads of goals, still produce in the Champions League. Yeah, I think not only that, he's been successful with Portugal, where he's playing with championship level players, really, apart from himself. I think he's the best ever, and I think it's not even close.
Whoa, that Portugal team, man. Have you seen the Portugal team now? You crazy? That's a mad team.
Yeah, but
That was serious.
now it is, but a couple of years ago, it was pretty ordinary. He's playing with Nuno Gomez and Nani, and that's it.
Yeah, it's true. Hey, one more. He made me laugh. I was just smiling when you were talking about him when he came to United and took the number 7 shirt. We used to hammer him about that shirt. Listen, we're not Cristiano. You're Beckham 7 top, George Best top, Brian Robson top, Cristiano a little bit down there. He used to go nuts, yeah. And then in the end, he used to say, they can't. Cristiano is different, okay? Just understand. Yeah, he had mad confidence. Like, watch. I'll be the best. I'll be the best. I score more. How many goals did he score? Like, he didn't care. And that's what I loved about him. You could anger him and get him uptight, and he would get right passionate about it. And then he went to Real Madrid and done the same. I remember seeing him the night before a Champions League final. I took my kids to see him. And we're sitting there. My kid, he said to my kids, "Who have you seen, man? You seen any of the players?" "Yeah, we just saw Raul downstairs." They said, one of the boys said, my boy said to him, and he went, "Raul, yeah, he's a good player. Respect Raul. But Cristiano."
Yeah.
but with the goals, he said, "I score many more goals. I'm sorry," like that. But that's the way he is. He's just a competitor, and it's funny. He does it with humor. He's respectful. Like we saw his post today about Pele. He's always respectful of the people that have gone before him. But ultimately, the man just wants to be the best, and I love it.
Listen, guys, we have to wrap up the show. But like I said, video Friday, 5 p.m. UK time. You've got to make sure you tune in. Subscribe, notifications.
It's a banger. It's going to be a banger. Seriously, don't miss it on Friday. Put your notifications on. Subscribe now, immediately. If you don't, you're going to miss an absolute massive interview. Serious, wicked. It's the one that a lot of the people want. People who love football want to hear this guy speak because he don't speak often.
Yeah. I just want to do a rare massive shout out to everyone in the 5 team that works hard behind the scene. The Wills, Toms, Mike, Kelechi, who does research. You guys might not know. Jake, the producer, putting in.
Oh, Jake's running like a Kenyan at the moment, isn't he? Shout out to Jake.
Seen him.
Listen, he's done everything right. Besides when he tried to say that Mata was a first team player and Man United are missing him. Like, he's a first team player, but he's not first 11. Jake, don't be putting that, please. I got you. All right, guys. We'll see you guys on Friday. Stay tuned. Getting them comments. We're out.
See you guys.
Peace.